I accepted a ride home from a party from someone I didn't know. My friends and I piled into the back of his car, and he took off, and he wouldn't stop. And he kept going faster and faster, and we said, slow down, stop, pull over, let us out. He was totally out of control. Big mistake. My name is Dr. Vicente. My patients call me Dr. V. I'll tell you some big mistakes you could make in whiplash, because I was about to endure some serious whiplash. He crashed the car into a ditch, and as it rolled over, I could hear funny sounds coming out of the car. It went rrr, 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 rrr. And my head collided with the ceiling of the car several times, and my neck crunched. It gave way. And then there was silence. And he said, "Run!" We clambered out of the car, and my friends promised not to tell a soul about what had happened. I didn't get adequate care. Needless to say, I'm a doctor of chiropractic. I specialize in whiplash injuries. I see people every day for this condition, so I know it personally because I had the wreck. And don't do what I did. I didn't get proper care early on. At least I could have used some ice on my neck. And if you have a ice pack, you could wrap it up in a wet towel and apply it 5 to 20 minutes, at least 3 times a day to bring the swelling down. At least I could have used ice. What did I do? I used dry heat. Total disaster. Dry heat just drives fluids deep into the joints. It makes it harder to get over the injuries. Don't do what I did. I'll tell you what not to do and exactly what to do to get the best results in cases of whiplash. And whiplash is different, I'll point out, than any other injury you may have had. I thought it was like other injuries. Like most people, I thought I'd just get over it, or that it would disappear somehow magically. I didn't do even the basics. And one of the things you might do is grab ice out of a drink and rub the muscles in front of your neck. That's a good way to bring down swelling and inflammation. It can offer you relief right away. Another thing you might do is avoid flexing your head forward for extended periods of time and interfacing with your computer or your cell phone. That destroys the neck. There's a lot of things I didn't know about whiplash that I was about to find out. Most people are in denial about it. Symptoms, it turns out, come on weeks and months after the accident, according to the best textbooks. The most common symptoms are neck pain, of course, and headache. And weeks and months after the accident, I started to have headaches, and I never had headaches before. And my neck started to get stiff. When I woke up in the morning, my neck was stiff, and I didn't know that you could take a towel and put it behind your neck and stretch your neck out over the towel. That's not enough to fix the problem. Whiplash is completely different from any other injury you may have had because it involves the spine and the nervous system. Because of the accident, my bones were violently thrown out of place. There are tremendous forces involved in the whiplash accident. Cars generate tremendous forces, and all those forces are concentrated in the little joints that hold our heads up. The head weighs 10 to 12 pounds, and there are 7 little bones that hold our head up. And unless these vertebrae or neck bones are put right, you're not going to be happy. People go to the emergency room and are told, well, there are no fractures, and they assume that they're okay. But what they don't tell them in the ER is that all the muscles and the ligaments have been ripped and torn by the accident, and there's some swelling deep in the joints, and they might have some serious problems later on. They're given a handful of pills, and that will never realign, rehabilitate, or restructure the spine. Even physical therapy, even doing exercises like this, or using ultrasound or muscle stim, is not enough to train those little joints to be normal again. Unless you go to a specialist that sees a lot of these injuries, you might not know how hurt you are. You can expect after an accident to have other symptoms, and you could look out for these symptoms: dizziness, loss of memory, loss of concentration, difficulty sleeping, numbness and tingling in your arms, hands, or fingers, loss of strength in your arms, hands, and fingers, neck stiffness, mid-back pain, lower back pain, numbness or tingling down the legs. Your wrists or shoulders might be injured. If the airbag went off, it's like being hit by a heavyweight. That force is tremendous force, and being pushed back by the airbag can be detrimental. Your chest may be injured. You may find it difficult to swallow. Your jaw might click or pop, or you might have jaw pain because during the whiplash accident, as your head is forced back, the jaw opens and you may end up with jaw problems. And you could rub the muscles of the jaw and apply ice and relieve tension and stress here. And perhaps use a mouth guard at night and use the ice over the large muscles of the jaw, or even take a piece of ice out of your drink and rub and massage these muscles that allow the jaw joint to open and close. Don't force anything. Take it easy. You might want to take a few days off, at least back off on your workout program. Give yourself a break. Limit computer use, because sitting for long periods of time, interfacing with that computer terminal is probably the worst thing you could do. Get everything up so that your neck is relaxed, so that your head is balanced like a big bowling ball on a stick. And you can relax those neck muscles and not sit all day long like that at the computer communicating with others. Whiplash can be a total disaster, and unless you get the right kind of care early on and use ice and avoid heat and avoid things like cervical collars. If you've been told to wear a cervical collar, that's a nightmare. Unless you have a fracture or a broken bone in your neck, wearing a collar will make things worse. It's going to heat up the joint, and the muscles go on vacation. The body is an intelligent system, wonderfully created, and these little muscles will weaken over time if they have any support around them. So it'll be harder to rehabilitate you if you wear a cervical collar. Certainly wear one if you have a fracture. If you've been told that you have to wear a hard cervical collar, do it, certainly, while that fracture heals. But otherwise, it can be one of the worst things that you could do for whiplash. Because of what I went through, I have personal and professional feelings about this condition. And I walked into a chiropractor's office a year after my accident. And it's a good thing I did. I was wondering about chiropractic as a career. And that doctor gave me something called an adjustment. Adjustment means to realign the vertebrae of the spine. The bones in my neck weren't moving. Some of them were moving too much, he told me. And some of them were moving too little. They were stuck. And he gently realigned my spine. And I couldn't believe how easy it felt and how much relief it provided. And suddenly, I could stand up again. I could breathe again. I felt more centered. And the pain in my neck and head was virtually gone. And I woke up the next day, and you could go through this experience. You might wake up tomorrow being pain-free. It could be a whole new day for you, depending on the choices that you make. And there's winners and losers in whiplash. The losers We'll continue to look for quick fixes online from dubious sources. And they're not going to get proper care. You need to use ice early on, and then later on, work the joints and have a doctor of chiropractic at least check you out to make sure that you're going to be okay, because the examination at the emergency room is not nearly enough to detect the hidden injuries that go along with many whiplash accidents. In cases of serious whiplash, a full 50% suffer lifetime pain. Don't become a victim. I have problems daily from whiplash that I feel from that accident, and I didn't have to go through that. Certainly don't do what I did. If you're out there suffering, give a doctor of chiropractic who specializes in whiplash a call. By the way, if you're in the Denver, Aurora area, my staff is trained to find hidden resources. Whether you had insurance or not, it really doesn't matter to me. But you could get it checked out, and I'd love to check you out personally. Obviously, I can't accommodate all of you, so don't call me unless you're serious about finding out what's wrong and maybe doing something about it. Because these problems without proper care do get worse. You could feel great. If you're in the Denver, Aurora area, call 303-394-2273.